Welcome, everyone, again to Pop Culture Clobberin Time, a show where we take a few minutes out of our busy weeks and dwell on totally unimportant stuff like movies from like 10 years ago. How long ago was this movie?
10 years.
10 years. So today, as promised, we are going to put on trial the Green Lantern movie. Dun, dun, dun. Hey, look, we've even got a live audience. Good morning, C. Wood. Good to see you in Legion of Comics. Thanks for joining us so early. Hey, we've got a special little teaser to kind of introduce you to kind of what spurred this whole thing. Let's see if I can get this to work.
Ah, green! Wow. I know, right? Woo! Not bad, huh? You're a superhero.
Don't they always get the girl?
If you want, I could talk about the Green Lantern movie.
Let's do.
I don't
Let's
know why
talk
that movie's
about
so underrated.
I think the next show should be dedicated to the pros and cons. He defends, and then you can like we'll do a court case. The hearing of the Green Lantern movie.
All right, we're on. I'll be the judge.
You be the judge.
Moderator.
My whole thing will just be, it sucked. It was garbage. It was in the middle of this hot streak. Green Lantern was on such a hot streak comic book wise. The brightest or the darkest, blackest night was going. Anyways, I'll save it. For next week. Or next yeah, so you hear to hear, folks. We're gonna go crazy, and we're gonna it's the trial of the Green Lantern movie.
So I'm
the prosecutor, and he's the defense.
All right, sound like Donkey Kong. All right.
We're gonna go for you, brother. Yeah. Go.
Huh?
Deal.
Okay, you said a fair fight. What do you mean by that?
As provided by the law.
Thunderdome. Two men, hand to hand. No jury, no appeal, no parole. Two men enter, one man leaves.
Weapons?
Anything is possible. Chance decides.
Thunderdome. How do I get in there?
That's easy. Pick a fight.
So there you have it, folks. That's what's behind this episode of Pop Culture. Can't even say the name of the show. Pop Culture Clobberin Time. There we go. Good morning, Unruly Simeon. Good morning, Phil Ailing. Thanks for joining us. And let's bring in the prosecutor for this case, Mr. Alan Schell. Good morning, Al.
Good morning, Jamie. Good morning, Vic. Nice day, isn't it?
Right out of suits. Look at you. The unprecedented first appearance in a tie on YouTube by Alan Schell.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for having me.
All right. So the way we're going to break this down is I said in the video last time I said I'd be the jury. I'm not the jury or the judge. Well, I'll be the judge, kind of the moderator. We're going to let whoever's in the chat decide who wins this debate, this court case over was it good, was it not so good? I guess the degree to which it is good or bad can also be decided. But let's get a few of the comments from the audience. Legion of Comics says, I feel like GL movie will receive the death penalty. He's already kind of made up his mind. Unruly Simeon says, GL could definitely have been done better in damn near every way. I still liked it though. Seawood, GL movie is definitely on my top 5 least favorite movies list. In Legion of Comics, the tie looks more uncomfortable than GL's CTI mask. All right, so just like in a real court case, the prosecutor is going to present his opening remarks. Take it away, Al.
Thank you, Judge Hood, if I may. Let me paint you all a picture of the 2009-2010 era of the Green Lantern, the comic book, in which they unveiled a very popular at the time storyline, The Blackest Night, which introduced many rings, many emotions to get in their own rings. It was the launching pad for what should have been the future of DC comic books, something that what we're not looking at today, right? And I don't want to blame this all on one movie, but if you look before Man of Steel, which I don't want to talk about right here, there was Green Lantern, the movie. Okay. 2011. We had our hopes up. Well, surely Jeff Johns is going to come in here and he's going to give us some wonderful, he's going to give Hollywood his greatness. What we got was a load of disappointment. We got comedy from a man that was only used to doing what? Romantic comedies. Once in a while, it was a leading man, but he had all his jokes. Now, I don't blame DC fully for this, or Hollywood fully for this. They were coming off a beautiful movie called Iron Man from 2008. They say, hey, I got an idea. We need a Robert Downey Jr. What did we get? We got Blade 3 guy, Ryan Reynolds, who, remind you, in 2011, or before that, he wasn't our Deadpool. He was that Deadpool. He was the merc with no mouth, no charisma. Okay? So what's he going to do? Let's give him another cartoon. Let's give him another comic book hero. Maybe he'll do well. Ooh, it's going to be so great. But if you remember back then, I know Vic doesn't because, he's new to comics. They put out an image at a San Diego Comic-Con of what the Green Lantern's going to look like. He looked demonic. He had like his white pupils. Looked like he was going to come in and steal your children. Green Lantern. It was so hard to even get that name over. But let's show this guy with rubber face and rubber body walking around. Woo! You failed. Green Lantern, you had so much. The first go, the picture was revealed and it fell and it was a bomb. But okay, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. We've seen worse. We lived through what? Spider-Man 3 with the symbiote and the dancing Peter Parker. We can live through a Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern. Let's give him a chance. But what happened when we went to go see the Green Lantern movie? We got, of course, what I said, all the jokes that you could never want. We made a Hal Jordan a totally different character, right? Oh, he's a womanizer. Okay. He's got all the bad jokes. They made him the Wally West from the JLA cartoon. He was the jokester. It's like, sure, we got to fill it in somewhere. Now, mind you, I understand the mindset of the Hollywood producers because before this, they were going to have Jack Black in the role. So that lets you think, okay, well, I know where they're going. So, okay, no skin objects. And then we look at the cast. We look at a great cast, a wasted Mark Strong. Now, I'm not saying the Green Lantern movie is total hogwash because there are good parts, mainly the space parts, I feel. With Sinestro. Mark Strong Sinestro was wasted in this movie. Wasted. You know why? Because they were too busy trying to set up the fart cloud, a parallax fart cloud, and the Elephant Man, Hector Hammond. Okay, they wanted you to feel something so bad for these characters. They had to link Hal Jordan with Hector Hammond up when they were kids. Okay, the 90s called. We don't want those scripts anymore. Okay, we're done with that. Why didn't you just have Uma Thurman and Arnold Schwarzenegger come in and play these characters? Because that was the tackiness that was added right off the bat. Hector Hammond, Hal Jordan, and Carol Ferris, just they're buddies. They're already starting. And what about the sandwich tin cry fest at the beginning? I get it that Hal Jordan has to have a touchdown when it comes to why would we care about this guy? That's why we see his father passed away at the beginning of the movie. Gets the spoiler alert, by the way, because earlier I got a spoiler from the Halloween Kills movie, and I'm mad, so I don't want to spoil anything. Anyways, his daddy crashes this plane and blows up. Okay, that could have easily been done. I'm the hotshot pilot, but I can't because you didn't have to show all that. That's wasted time right there. I know you're going to get on that, but I'm telling you, the reason why they had to do that because Ryan Reynolds was not a likable leading man. He just wasn't. It wasn't his time yet. He hadn't had Deadpool yet. And really, after Deadpool, what has he done? He makes us laugh. That's why he's our laughing monkey. He makes us laugh pretty much like what I do here. But the point being is that you failed in your leading man. The movie is not going to go any farther. You could have had, well, they did. They had the best people around them. Let's see, they had Mark Strong as Sinestro, Clancy Brown as the voice of Parallax. They had Tim Robbins as Hector Hammond's father, Skarsgård as Hector Hammond, who, even though he looked like the guy from Mask, still had some good, he had some good licks in there. He's a true actor, an actor. Oh, and yes, thank you, Hialeah, for pointing this out. They didn't even believe in Ryan Reynolds so much that they had to give him Taika Waititi.
Is this opening arguments or are you just presenting your case? I thought we were just supposed to be opening arguments here.
I thought I had to carry the show again.
I mean, you're just like blah, blah,
okay,
blah, 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 blah. Comic this, comic that,
blah, 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 blah. Comic this,
comic that, blah, 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 comic. I thought this was about the movie. You did say Mark Strong was a good cast as Sinestro.
Is this how we do this? He's just gonna interrupt me?
Yes. I'm interrupting you. Because all you're doing is just blathering on.
He's objecting to this objection.
Yeah. Okay. I rest. Jeez. Sorry. Go ahead with yours.
We're here to talk about the movie. You talk about the comics.
I was talking about the movie. I was talking about the movie, bro. Okay.
The Blackest Night. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, through all the Green Lantern stuff. I've never seen a Black Knight in anything. But that's what you want to talk about, the Blackest Night, how they're on a roll here and there. Hey, this is about the movie. The movie that has peak Ryan Reynolds. You said you want to about Ryan Reynolds. He was America's sexiest man. Blake Lively, Maximum 100 top 10. Okay. Angela Bassett, always top 10.
Always wasted in this movie.
Great cast. Great people.
That's what I said. And that's why they chose, man. Get out of here.
$200 million. And it has such good staying power. A few weeks ago, it was number 1 on Netflix's top 10. So how can you say this is a bad movie? This movie is not only is it a great movie, it's a classic movie. And you know what? It's good enough that the Raiders showed it before all their home games one year. The Raiders, America's team.
Okay, pandering to the jury. Oh. We can't have that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just saying. It's a good movie.
That's an event.
You want me to keep going?
Does that conclude your opening remark?
Yes.
Okay. Al, the floor is back to you.
Is it? What am I supposed to say? Because I can't talk because of buddy here.
What you were presenting evidence during your opening remark. That's
okay. Sorry, I'm not a freaking lawyer. I'm here to. You're lucky I didn't get past it like he did. He was like, "Oh, you're blah blah blah." I'm like what? Blah blah blah. That's all I'm gonna say. Blah blah blah. My evidence.
Schmackety.
Yeah. I'll say this: we're talking about the movie. You keep talking about the comic books. What's the comic books?
I was covering my story, man. I started with the comic books so I could lead into to explain to you, hey, you don't know comic books. Sorry, you don't understand that. I'll tell you what. The reason why it bombed because there was so much writing on that movie. It bombed. I'm talking about back then. You can have rose-colored glasses all you want, buddy, and you can go back and say, you know what? Getting kicked in the nuts back then wasn't so bad. The pain's gone. You can do that all you want, Vic, because you weren't there. Okay, you weren't there. You didn't experience the pain of it. The letdown. That's what I want. That's why this is on trial. It's the letdown of this movie. It should have been more than what it was, and what we got was a Ryan Reynolds stand-up act. Okay, it was so. The earth spots on that were so ridiculous. I'll give you that exhibit. No, hey, the corny ass. Pardon my French, constructs, okay? I'll give them the punch, okay? I give them the balloon hand. I'll give them that because that's the mainstay. But you look, and when he's saving that helicopter, and then he puts this little hot rod on a little Hot Wheels track action.
That was amazing.
What did I come here? What did I come? No, don't interrupt me now. This is me, man. Listen. I come here for that? Did I come for a little boy playing with little toys? Did I come for that? Did I come for his 2 jet engine planes? I'm going to save the universe. They tried to cram so much into that. It was unbelievable. Ryan Reynolds, all I'm saying is those constructs were corny. Ryan Reynolds was corny. And you had guys trying to act around him. Sure, he grew into, well, I'm just saying, Deadpool, whatever, really hasn't done. Even Bodyguard's Apprentice or whatever the hell he's doing. Jeez. You got me riled up now, man. I'm coming full force. Anyway, sorry, it's a bad promo. All I'm saying, okay, you got the constructs with corny. The whole ideas of multiple villains, it needs to be put to bed. Too many villains. You got the parallax. I understand the fart clouds rolling around. Making bad. So he's like, oh, I got a bad day. I got a cloud coming in. It was ill prepared. And that was before the Man of Steel came out. We're rolling off, get this. We're rolling off of the Nolan Batman trilogy. And then you get Iron Man. And we're going to jump on that. Like I said, they jumped on that and they got the wrong Downey Jr. wannabe. Okay. They should have got Chris Evans. They should have got a Chris Evans because Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern is my Jamie Hood's Chris Evans Captain America. Ill cast. And you want to talk about what it's doing now? Netflix #1. That's because your boy Ryan Reynolds just was watching it, so everybody's like, "Oh, we gotta watch it too. We gotta watch it too." And hey, there might be rose-colored glasses on it now. There might be like, "Oh, that's not as bad," because we have a lot more junk coming out that make that look like, makes it look like The Godfather, which you probably haven't seen. So sorry, and I'm talking from a film buff area here. That movie was every other movie tried to smush together, and it failed us. And that's why I'm here prosecuting the Green Lantern movie, because it dashed our hopes. Now, you might have got a kick out of it, buddy, but there was millions of people, millions of fanboys, and I can attest to this because I was doing conventions at the time.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Mm-hmm. And they were crushed by that movie. They hated that movie because, like, what? He's a jokey dude. He can't even carry a movie, so they got Taika Waititi coming in and being his sidekick, much like Shang-Chi had to have his sidekick because Marvel didn't really feel like, hey, that dude's good enough. We got to give him Aquafina. Okay? I'm just saying, it's proof is in the pudding. That was two different movies smashed together. Okay, much like the new Venom movie. Okay, but compared to movies nowadays, yeah, it ain't so bad. But you gotta live in that moment. You gotta remember that moment. But you didn't have that like the rest of us. That's where I'm coming. These are my peers when it comes to that because they experienced in time. We're looking for the Germans that put us in that camp, buddy. That's what we're doing. They put us in that camp and made us watch that Green Lantern movie and put the scars on us. I want payment for these Green Lantern scars. There you go. Whatever.
Here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't made for you.
It was okay.
It wasn't made for you. The movie wasn't made for you. It was made for me.
No, it wasn't. It was made.
It was
you weren't even watching Green Lantern. You didn't even know who Green Lantern was. That was made for you. It was made for you.
I have no clue what the Green Lantern was. I didn't know there's a ring involved. I just thought he held up a lantern and a beam went out somewhere. Didn't know there's a ring involved. I didn't know anything about the Green Lantern. I didn't know he was a white dude. Okay? Here's the thing.
Another fuck. Go ahead.
It was made for people like that's why it made $200 million. Because we didn't know a movie starring Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively. I'm in. And we went and we enjoyed it. It had a good time. What's it have on Rotten Tomatoes? I don't remember because I didn't look it up because I know better. I mean, at the end of the day, I was entertained. I was a little confused because there's a whole bunch of lanterns out there. And I was curious. I wanted to learn more about the rest of these dudes. The big ugly dude and the smaller ugly dude and the other weird looking ugly dude. There's a bunch of ugly dudes that were lanterns, by the way. I wanted to learn about the universe. I want to learn about all of it. So that's why I decided to 10 years later pick up a comic book and read about Green Lantern.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
It was made for me. It wasn't made for you. Mm-hmm. More people watched the movie than read the books.
Oh shit. I mean, yeah.
And that's the point. It was a movie to make money, and it made lots of money, and it was a good movie. I was entertained. They just needed a few more black folks.
So
I'm saying.
Really? I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, is it my turn?
Yes.
Okay. 10 years later, they made you pick up. When did you watch the movie?
I don't remember. I would say 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
It in the theater.
So it's so great. It was so inspiring. It took you 10 years to get a book.
To be honest with you, I didn't know where a comic book store was.
Okay. Well, the internet was around 10 years ago, so that defeats the purpose there.
Yeah,
listen,
only nerds read comic books back then.
All you're sprouting is numbers. You're just going, Rotten Tomatoes. I care what Rotten Tomatoes says.
That's good because it's 20%.
Yeah. I care how much money the movie made on how much was the budget there, Vic? How much did it make against the budget in the advertising?
Budget was $35 million.
You're not factoring in emotional hurt, are you? You're not factoring. That's what happens. The emotional disappointment, childhood disappointment. No, it wasn't for me. But guess what? If it was for me, it would have been better. You understand? You would have liked it even more because then you would have known who those ugly dudes were. They would have had more like, hey, what's this ugly dude? And you're right. I wanted to see the universe explored more. But guess what we got? We got Ryan Reynolds on Earth being the corniest dude. Goes and flies up with that stupid mask with his round nose. Okay? The round nose of the goo. He's got his pupils. Make it a visor. Just put 2 shades over it. You don't have to show his pupils. I'm not gonna. Do I even get on the muscle suits? You had everything. You just make a shiny Green Lantern suit. You don't have to make a pulsating suit.
His pupils are white right here. What are you complaining about? They're right.
They're white right dots. Here. Buddy, he doesn't have his pupil dots. The dots. in his eyeballs. He doesn't have colored eyeballs.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it was kind of creepy.
He's blank. He looked like he was going to suck the soul out of it, and he did suck the soul out of it. He sucked the soul out of the movie. Now, I like Ryan Reynolds, but it was not the movie for him. Now, you say you liked it, but then, of course, 10 years later, that's when you just say, no, it did not. It did not do that. You're being facetious. It was Jamie Hood. You went and you were like, hey, I kind of like this guy, and he kind of liked comic books. It's like you didn't care about Green Lantern because you said yourself you didn't know he was white. And here's the thing. The movie probably would have been 10 times better if you would have put in Jon Stewart and then alluded to Hal Jordan. But they had to give us that cheesy origin story. It's the basic generic origin story. Let's make it to where his family dies and he grows up and he's got to do this thing. Oh my
What's
goodness.
the Disney origin story? You got to kill off a parent.
Huh?
Or Spider-Man.
Or Spider-Man. It's every origin story.
They kill, come on. Give me a break, guys.
All you need was some pearls.
Green Lantern had more writing on him because it was his first time out. Okay. More first time live action movie. You dropped the ball. I'm just saying, you let it slip through your fingers. That's all I got to say. These guys know what I'm talking about. They're with me. All right.
Of course, they're your people.
They're your people too.
Now,
how are they not your people?
When the movie came out,
St. Louis. Okay. He loves St. Louis too. Now that's going a little too far. I don't like that. That
right. So, do you have any closing statements?
I think I said
it's all been one big long statement.
One closing statement. I can talk to the jury. Okay. All Vic can show us is the numbers, the cold numbers. I can show you, I have given you the true emotion, the true feeling of what the comic book world was feeling. Okay. That's what I gave you. You can go, oh, it made $200 million. And a lot of people like it now. A lot of people. But what about the memory, the feeling when you think it should? I'm telling you, it should. We should go. We should be able to do that. Shouldn't we? We should be able to go, it don't hurt so bad anymore. I'm going to go watch it. But when I think of that, go back and watch the previous video. When I think of Green Lantern, that's why I have a puke reaction because of what when I eat bad food that makes me sick one time, I can't go back to it. I can't go back to Taco Bell. Maybe sometimes I do. But I'm telling you, always the same effect. That's why it fails. That's why it's got to be top, guys. I'm sorry, Vic, you liked it. But, some people like kissing feet too. But that's their deal.
All right, you got a long road to hoe. So,
hey, I mean, I just think about I was entertained. A guy who's struggling with the demons of his past, of his dad dying, trying to figure out what he wants to do in life. He gets a calling, and he fulfills that calling. It's a classic story. It's a great story. Jeff Johns, Greg Berlanti, once again, doing what they do, make good TV, make good movies, representing for the DC universe.
Berlanti show hasn't come out yet.
He direct produced this.
Oh man. Okay. I'll shut up now.
I mean, all he do is do good work. Doom Patrol, Titans, and once again, I can't preach Titans enough. Y'all haven't seen it? DM me. I'll give you my HBO password. All right. Titans, Green Lantern. It's great. I was entertained. And here's the thing. After watching the movie, I was fulfilled. I was entertained. All you do is talk about how miserable you were because they didn't match up to the books. The books. All you talk about are the books. You don't watch the movie within the vacuum of just the movie.
Man.
So
it's always about the books.
I've done my best to be completely neutral in this.
But the Greg Berlanti pushed over the edge.
Greg Berlanti did this, and they gave him all this power now. throw up my hands.
Yeah, I guess y'all didn't like the Arrowverse either.
I didn't watch it.
Flash.
All right, so chat, Gore, Unruly, Hialeah, you guys are still in here. Okay, let's hear your verdict.
Yeah. I have no chance winning this.
Is the movie guilty of being bad or innocent of being bad? So, a guilty will condemn this movie.
Oh, wait a second. Let me see if I can work an extra vote here. I'm going to go on a limb here. The Raiders should have never got rid of John Gruden in the middle of a win streak.
Is that a PC statement?
That's called pandering.
I don't know where Hialeah leans on John
pandering
Gruden.
To the jury. Pandering to the jury.
The Raiders are better off without him.
C. Wood says guilty. Guilty.
Okay. What movie lives up to your comic book standards? How about that? By the way, they changed Iron Man from the comic books and made him this ladies' man in the movies. You didn't complain. Oh, you did complain about that.
Magic Lasso. I like how the movie seemed more like a comic book brought to life. But I've noticed those types of movies are almost always panned.
Mm-hmm.
Gore Vidal, not guilty.
Oh, Gore's always my favorite.
Better off without him.
I agree.
For the long term of the sport and the team.
By the way, nice new logo.
Jury, huh? What's that mean? Oh, okay.
So, all right. So I think.
Yeah, it was an uphill battle.
Highly gives you the win for the effort, though.
Total pandering. We gotta throw this.
And how about this? I tried to buy one of your precious Blackest Night books. There are like 27 different versions of Blackest Night. Which one am I supposed to be looking for?
The cheapest one.
You're missing the point. You are so missing the point. I didn't even care. Listen. So he wins, or who?
You won.
You won. You won going in.
Okay.
Like I really said,
listen,
he liked it, but it's a bad movie.
Listen, I had to go back and watch this movie. I had to go back and watch this movie, and I have to say, it's not as bad. It's not that bad. But that's only after, I used to, Ryan Reynolds was a chump. He's still bad in that movie. Well, he's not as bad as some of the things. And now that I know who Taika Waititi is, cool, he's there.
Yeah, I forgot your precious Taika Waititi is in it.
I didn't even pick
And I tell you what, though, the best thing about the movie is the space stuff. And I love the way it looked. I didn't like it. The only thing that looked odd was, and this is why I didn't bring up, was the floating head of Ryan Reynolds when he was flying. It just looked like a head with a cape on it. It was just it was garbage.
The flying effects.
But I'm telling you, it's better than a lot of Marvel movies. It is.
I've only watched it once, and I don't remember it that fondly. And I was one of those readers, and as far as the comics went, where the marketing that they were putting behind it and the kind of the big event storylines, like you're talking about, like Blackest Night, got me into it. I wasn't historically a Green Lantern fan, but I started reading the books, and they were good. And I went in the movie thinking, if Jeff Johns is involved in this at all, he's got to be able to hold the quality up somehow. But
actually, Jeff Johns didn't have a hand in writing the screenplay for some reason.
But he was a producer, right?
Yeah, he was a producer.
Yeah, then where Parallax was jabbed in and all
Greg
that
Berlanti had a hand in the screenplay.
Yeah. So I don't often go back and watch the movies with audio commentary by the director and all those guys or whatever, but this might be an interesting movie to go back and listen to, just to get more of the behind the scenes on what went into some of the decisions. Yeah.
Another thing.
I agree with the notion that they did squeeze in too much. They didn't need to do Parallax in this movie. They could have just done the what's the guy's name that's got the big head? I can't remember.
I don't think they needed to do him. I think Parallax was just bad. Or they need a different villain, like
possibly,
or just start with Sinestro. That's the problem with a lot of these is they want to make those guys buddies. So then when you get to the third movie, it's like, oh my God, Sinestro turned evil. Even though they do that at the end of this movie,
yeah.
They should have just came in. Sinestro is the one that killed Abin Sur. He's the one that betrayed him, and maybe it's a secret. Maybe do that, but whatever.
Yeah,
and
Hector
another
Hammond.
thing, guys,
What's his
Green
villain name?
Lantern's origin isn't that exciting, anyways. Like, Hal Jordan's isn't that. It's kind of like, okay, this and the guy in the Abin Sur was Boba Fett in the prequels. I think that was another like, hey, let's get this guy because he's so low, like a Rob Zombie casting where he gets all the guys from the conventions and puts them in his
I didn't even know that's who it was.
I looked it up. I was like, who's this guy? He looked like he looked like the Martian Manhunter from that awful Justice League. Like they got the guy from MASH and put their big, hey, I'm Martian Manhunter.
So yeah, I was really looking forward to the HBO show until I heard that Berlanti had something to do with the movie too. So yeah.
Hey, Titans! I can watch Titans.
I do want to watch Titans.
Titans is amazing. This past week, my goodness!
I've heard nothing but good things about it, and I'm an old school Teen Titans fan. Grew up on the Marv Wolfman and George Perez stuff, and everybody that I've known that has watched it has loved it. But I know Al won't.
Yeah, I might later, like 5 years from now.
But
I did that with Battlestar Galactica, where I was like, I ain't gonna watch that, and then I went later, I streamed it, and I liked it.
So say we all.
They cut off the edges of the paper, the corners, in Battlestar Galactica. Like every piece of paper they had, they cut off the corners just to make it look like, hey, this was not a piece of paper.
It's futuristic paper.
It grows up on octagonal trees.
Coach, you were talking some smack like all these past 2 weeks.
For things,
good things. He would post, it's like, I don't want to prove you wrong or whatever, and try to wink.
I forgot who my jury was.
Oh man, come on now! If you could have pulled it off and explained to them that you went with the money. That's the thing. You went with it. Made $200 million. I was like, yeah.
That's what I'm saying though. How much money is the Green Lantern comic book series made as a whole?
I don't know.
Okay.
$65 million.
You looked up that number?
I tried. I couldn't find it anywhere.
Oh, well, that's your estimate. I mean, back in that era, it was one of DC's top selling books. So they were able to afford the top artists and writers at the time. I keep looking down there because there's a copy of the trades down there. So let's relate this to kind of today's movies and the things that are coming out, like Eternals.
Why you gotta go to Eternals?
Dude, I'm telling you, I know it's gonna be. I think Green Lantern was kind of ahead of its time. It should have came out later. It is. If you look at the visuals of it needed more work on its visuals. It needs more time to clean it up, but the space stuff was great. Like the way it looked. They looked like puppets, like CGI puppets. I love the way the Guardians look. It just looked weird. I think the thing they needed to work on was not having such like childish constructs, like I'm gonna make it into a hot ride. All right, ooh, these big jet lasers,
Well, that was
Yeah, I know you didn't mention that. Like, oh, it's so cool that he's saved the world.
Comics. What's wrong with it? Legion of Comics made a comment earlier that they explain in like the longer cut of it that had to do with Hal Jordan and Hector Hammond growing up as kids, that they played with Hot Wheels or something like that. But you know what was really behind it? I'm sure Hot Wheels paid $100,000 to have their car put in the movie.
It's like Hector Hammond. Was that his friend that was in the room?
Yeah, the big head.
Did he become somebody eventually?
Hector Hammond. He was the big-headed monster.
Yeah,
guy.
he became the big villain. I'm trying to think. Did he have a code name, like a super villain name? I can't even remember.
No, it was just Dr. Hammond.
He's just Dr. Hammond.
And that's another thing. Like, hey, let's not give him the Joker. Let's give him the Clue Master or something, you know? You know what I'm saying? It's like, let's kick him off with some of the lamest villains. Like, oh, this was good in the 60s. Well, let's pop it out here. I don't know. But here's the thing also. It was cool to see, like, monster morphine type stuff. It was kind of like, you know? Like, if you're in the David Lynch stuff, it says, or wait a minute, yeah. No. Not Lynch. What was the other David? Cronenberg. Cronenberg. If you're into Cronenberg, that was some Cronenberg brain teaser, you know? Just like, you know, that was all right. Listen, wrong place, wrong time with the Earth stuff. Like I said, the Earth stuff I can do without. The space stuff's pretty cool. And maybe throw in, you know, Chris Evans as Green Lantern. And he would have done the same job because he was corny. He was the same person back then.
Well, according to you, it should have been a young Denzel, though.
Yeah, I mean, well, it was way past time then. Who else could have been? They were talking. Weren't they talking like Will Smith at a time to be him or Jack Black? They could have done it.
Jack Black.
Yeah, could you imagine if they did this movie with Jack Black in it?
Oh.
The Justice League cartoon had Jon Stewart, and that was the Green Lantern everybody knows. And then, you know, why not? Why not go with that? There was your chance, and they kind of like.
But if you're introducing him as the Green Lantern in the movie, what's his origin? Is it going to be the Hal Jordan origin?
No, you
can do like Wonder Woman, make the second movie his origin story.
Retired, or you can make him passing it over. You don't have to just, you know.
Okay.
I really feel like a lot of times in movies, the origin story is something they do to get the movie kick-started. I don't think you necessarily need an origin story. I think you just start the movie.
Exactly. And that's it. That origin story, we didn't need to know about his dad. We could have just like him now and then like, hey, why are you so messed up? Well, I watched my dad blow up in a jet. You know? Like they haven't mentioned Uncle Ben and Spider-Man, even though we have back then. I think it's a mindset that we don't need. We thought we needed that. And then you got to remember Hollywood does that. And it's like, well, he's the called Green Lantern, so we'll give him, you know, a big bus with a lantern on it. Like, what? What are you doing? You know, we're lucky we got what we got, even though I think the mask really kind of, if they changed the mask, it probably wouldn't have been. If they give him a pointy nose, maybe, instead of like that nose with the like he was putting his nose against the window.
They put too much production design into the costume. They had the neck that kind of didn't have like a top edge. It just blended into him. I mean, they
looked like he was getting squirted out of a bottle or something.
They kind of made it look so that like the suit was his body essentially, like all the striations in it kind of reflect the musculature and stuff like that.
Right.
Magic Castle makes a good point. We don't need two villains for every movie. Give me one good one. Yep, I agree.
Well, yes. We haven't seen that in a while, though.
You know who we had in Superman? Lex Luthor. Period.
Well, it's because of Superman 2 that they do that. And then Batman Returns had Catwoman and Penguin. But even though Catwoman was kind of just more like a, you know. Anyways, I won.
Now, what were you saying? I won. That compared to movies today or something like that?
I won.
I don't know. I was going to go in a dark rabbit hole, so I won't take us there.
You just want to talk bad about Eternals.
I do.
Hey, each trailer looks better than the previous trailer.
And I'm
Have you
off
seen the figures?
I'm off the trailer thing, so I'm waiting for the movie to come out so I don't see it all before I get there.
And like I said, I expect an apology from both of y'all November 12th. That's the day after Shang-Chi comes to Disney Plus.
What?
Because it's a great movie.
I'm not saying it's not, but I didn't go see it.
He is.
I didn't say it sucked. I just said that, I forgot it already.
My bar for it is average Marvel movie.
I mean, it's not going to be Jungle Cruise, which comes out that same day too.
Yeah, it's like on par with like Ant-Man. You know,
Ant-Man was better than I would have thought, but I didn't get to see Ant-Man either.
My wife
it's better than
Ant-Man.
most of the Thor movies.
Is it better than Thor 2? Because that's kind of my bar for the middle of.
Is that the one where he's in the Middle East and he makes the well, you said Thor 2. I don't know. Is that the one where he fights the Hulk?
No,
it's in outer space.
No, that's the third one. It'll be.
Here's another thing. He said that these aren't good people.
November 11th.
November 11th.
You hear that? I gotta give. He says these guys aren't his people. They love you, Vic. They love you.
No. Back then. Now, these are my people.
Now is what matters. Back then, though, when it comes to friendship, when it comes to liking someone, it doesn't matter what it was back then. I like people today that I hated back in my youth. These people are your people. And for you to shun them like you did.
I love my people.
Shun them.
So looking ahead to the next episode of Pop Culture Clobberin Time, Coach Vic asked me an interesting question this week that we're going to examine next time.
The spirit.
I bit my tongue about the spirit this whole episode.
The spirit
movie. It's terrible.
Is that a comic book too?
We'll talk about that later. Okay, so Coach Vic asked a great question. What makes good comic book art?
Huh?
What makes good comic book art?
There's no answer to that. That's subjective, man. You can't.
Yeah, but we can say that there is some comic book art that is quality, and there's some that is not.
Well, here's the thing: you may say it's subjective as to what's good, but you all recognize bad stuff. It's usually a consensus. When it's bad, everybody agrees that it's bad.
So, and this is what I want to get from the audience we have right now. Who would you consider to be bad examples of comic book artists? And I know people are going to say Rob Liefeld. Well, yeah, besides him, name someone else that you know your deep cut bad artist in comics.
Ivan Reis.
What?
That's just the name I saw.
Yeah, he's on Green Lantern with Jeff Johns. He's one of the best in the business.
Oh, better than John Romita Jr.
They're very different. It depends on what you're looking for.
Oh.
I mean, taste wise.
That's why it's subjective. Like people hate Kirby. I like Kirby. There's people that hate Kirby. People like John Romita Jr. I give or take. So it's kind of.
We'll definitely hit on Kirby. We might talk about John Romita Jr. since it's been mentioned.
Oh well, if that's the case, there's Stelfreeze.
Yeah,
he's just name dropping. He's just talking to people that he knows or can see their names from where he's.
Or my favorite. I can't think of Terry's last name.
Huddleston.
Let's see where this is going.
He's saying he's good or bad.
Oh, I was going to say he's good. He's one of my favorites.
Now, is that comic book art or fan art?
Comic book art.
Okay, there's a difference.
So, all right. So we'll talk about that next time.
No, I have a question. I know you're going down to Indy for the what's it called? Indianapolis Con.
Indiana Comic Con.
What are you looking forward to do? What are you looking forward to seeing down there? What are you looking forward to doing down there?
Well, I got some friends I haven't seen in a while. I used to do conventions, and I'm going to go down there and visit them. And I'm just always looking for toys. Not comic
will Terry be there?
Leah will be there, his wife.
Okay.
It's a lot more fun.
We're in a geographical oddity right now in that
I know, right?
Within driving distance, we've got 3 like big, pretty. I don't want to say major Comic Cons, but 3 of the biggest in the area. And of course, with everything being kind of downsized for COVID, they're all a little bit less than they would normally be. But We could choose from Wizard World Chicago. I didn't even know Wizard World Chicago was still doing a show.
Isn't that the one that's crazy? No, that's the one that's in Atlanta.
Yeah, Wizard World. When Wizard was a magazine, then they were a show promoter. They did shows all over the country. They bought up comic book conventions.
Okay.
But it's less about comics anymore, and it has been for a long time, and more about B-level movie stars. And then we got the Indiana Comic Con, which was the last big con I went to, and went with Al a couple years ago. And then the Motor City Comic Con up in Novi, Michigan. It's personally one of my favorite shows to go to, and I would like to have gone, but just didn't work out.
Detroit Bad Boys.
I think everybody in this area is gearing up for C2E2, not this year, which is going to be in December, and it's usually like early in like April or May, and I think it's in August next year, so it's going to be a long wait. But that's kind of the one.
Why is it in December?
Because it was in April or May or whatever, and they pushed it back because they couldn't have that big a crowd back then because of COVID.
Oh.
Good morning, Viggy Shack. New World Order Comics. Good
NWO for life.
Changed his channel name this week. I would suggest looking up on IG to find out what it was. I'm not going to repeat it on my own channel.
Okay.
It's like
show you these cool
Big Male Chicken Comics. So we'll say that.
Show you my cool stickers I made recently.
All right, let's see those before we sign off.
The Bionic 6, right? You know the Bionic 6? I talked about them before and like what should be. So I'm trying to figure out the size I want to produce. So, like, that's the size, and then this is bigger, right?
Nice.
And then here's a bigger one. So, yeah, I actually got those on my Etsy page. I'm trying to make more money someday. I'm never going to make it as a lawyer. But also, I've been trying different vinyls and different paper, sticker paper. Here's my Cthulhu Captain America head that I think that's pretty cool.
Very cool.
Hey, if you did some Thunderbirds, I might know a buyer.
Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
I wanted to see that and I missed it. I'll have to watch the rewind.
To giving away my stickers? We should give away stickers now.
All right, so I think we'll wrap this one up. Al's got to get on the road to that show. Got a good 2.5 hour drive to get there, so we will sign off.
Plus,
you want to know why? You want to know why I really won? Because I had a tie.
Because you had the tie.
I came prepared.
A special shout out to Discovery Bay Comics. He's been kind of away from the community for a while.
Yeah.
And he's going to start up his channel again this week in a big way. And I will be on with him Friday morning at 9 a.m.
Really?
Yep. So we're really looking forward to that. So yeah, that's what I've got coming up. I'm going to do a haul sometime soon and probably be a few weeks down the road, but we'll do that whenever all the stuff comes in.
Hopefully I get my white coat in time so I can be Kingpin.
That's another thing. Hey, Michael Duncan Clark.
Michael Clark Duncan.
Clark Duncan is the voice of Kilowog, and they barely used him.
Yeah, I noticed that in the preview when I watched it again.
Like, what?
All right.
He should have been in space more.
He's from Kansas City, but I don't hold that against him.
Reminding you as always, faith, family, comic books. We'll see you next time, guys.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
There you go.